Hello everyone, EagleX here today. I have my good friend Tien. He just recently placed top 8 in the Arlington DigiFest event, getting 5th place with X-Antibody. If you want to say hello again, Tien.
Hello everyone.
Yeah, everyone gets to see your beautiful face this time. I know we did a Discord call last time, and lots of people had questions about your deck. They were wondering, how did it work? What was your thought process behind deck building? Well, this video, we're going to be going over some more of that with just a discussion and updates to your deck you would have if you were to play this again.
Okay.
So first things first, when I'm looking online, I'm seeing people have questions about your deck building. One of the first questions I saw was 11 rookies. That felt really slim. We're used to running like 14, maybe even 15 rookies in our normal format. And rookie selection is another thing. Like Cinderace promos make sense. Dorumon rookie makes sense. Chumon's a good rookie. But let's start with the rookie counts. So why did you choose 11 rookies for your build?
So with the introduction of Mulligan, I feel like the magic number for the amount of rookies you should have in your deck to consistently sit in the first turn is 9. So I feel like 11 is actually like more than enough to see it consistently. And also the fact that you play a lot of searches, you can always search for your rookies. I feel like 11 is just a really good number.
Yeah, mulligans, like you're saying,
Right.
it's the extra draw. You can kind of guarantee your hand to be a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the rookie spots, did you ever consider Chikurimon at all?
I actually play tested with him, also with the Toy Agumon. And a lot of people wonder why I run the Metal Greymon and not the Toy Agumon. The thing is that a lot of time when I play, I feel like the Toy Agumon is kind of redundant because I was always having punch. So then Toy just didn't do anything in that in those scenarios, because like you draw a lot before you combo off. So having punch is a regular thing. Like in all the games I play, I've only not seen punch in like 2 or 3 games during the whole entire run. And those are very rare to happen because you play punch at 4. So that then make Toy Agumon redundant. And Chumon is just a much better card, in my opinion. I fill up my side deck with important cards, I believe. Neo David was bad, but like I believe I should reserve all those spots for the bad matchups. That's why I like to put Chumon in the main deck, and that's probably why.
Yeah, not to mention he has like lots of applications too.
He does.
And I guess maybe a thought that we can throw out to people is if you're looking at a more budget build and Cinderizimons are out of your budget range, maybe Toyakus would be a good replacement to guarantee that extra check with a Metal Greymon, just for consideration. But this is the list you ran. Now talking about the level 5s, you briefly touched on it. Metal Greymon, he was like one of your MVP level 5s. Story Greymon, you obviously run 4 of in an X-Antibody list.
Okay.
But then the 2 real big contenders for other level 5s I see people run is Volcanomon and Megadramon. Megadramon's more of the defensive route where you're trying to protect your board with either a really big level 6 or 7. And Volcanomon is just another way to get extra security checks. What's your reasoning for Metal Greymon over Volcanomon?
So the 2 biggest contender were Volcano and Metal Greymon for sure. The thing about Volcano is that he kind of pressure your opponent to swing into you to suspend all demons, and the security for my list is actually really weak. You have a bunch of level 3 that are 1k. Or 2k max. So a lot of time blue player just swing in and with that 2k and see a 1k and it lives, and it literally cost me games because of that. So I want to not pressure them into swinging, and then like Volcano is something that your opponent can control. Metal Greymon is something you can control. So for a OTK deck, you always want to be in control when you do swing in, right? And with also synergy with Chaosmon, if you Digivolve into Chaosmon and you swing, you always want to not leave one guy out on the field for them to Digivolve over on top. Next turn, you always want to clear board. right? So when you clear board, Volcano Mon is not going to trigger. You just lost one check. So that's like a negative synergy there, and just the fact that you cannot control Volcano Mon, which I find is the reason why I tested with him, and then I put him aside for Metal Greymon, which I think is just a much better card. And usually you want to stack Metal Greymon because when you go out, you still have the Dodo Greymon to shove under to gain one extra check. If you stack with Dodo Greymon, then you can't really solve Metal Greymon. So I feel like he's just a really good card. And when we talk about Megatronmon, he's just not very good because like if you want to win a list, you need to have a focus. You need to have a win con. You need to compete with other decks in terms of tempo, in terms of like the time frame that you can reach your win con, right? Because like blue is gonna set that time frame like down a lot because they are so fast. And when you come out early, they're just gonna strip your souls. So they're gonna go extremely hard at your security to make you want to come out early. Then you're forced to, then the time frame will be reduced even more. That's why having a blocker just doesn't do anything for you. You want to reach your win condition. If you want to play more controller version of the deck, I feel that is fine at the local level. But when I play in the tourney, I was undefeated for a long time. I think until like the 6th round, I was undefeated. So I was playing against like undefeated players, and that deck is just so focused and so fast. Even like the loop player, when I win, he got me to 1 security or 2 security consistently. And I know that if I didn't win on the turn that I was swinging, he would have won. That's why if you want a winning list, you gotta have a extreme focus and a win con, and you need to be able to reach it in the right amount of time.
Yeah, and yours is very focused on getting all those checks. You're cleaving
Right.
them for a lot of damage.
Right.
And Gagmon, he wasn't really a strong consideration. He's just a playable level 5.
Yeah.
You're always at that 13k threshold at Dora Greymon
Right.
or Dora Goromon. Talking about level 7s, Chaosmon was the one of your choice, and originally you did have Armageddonmon in your side deck. What kind of happened there that made you fall out of favor of Armageddonmon?
So Armageddon was originally 2-side against purple, but what I found is that I don't have a lot of problem against purple if I play the matchup right. So Parabolic Chung is actually all you really need. If I was going to play Armageddon, he was going to be inside deck 2 off in a way. But with Parabolic Chung at 4, you can use it consistently. And what you usually do with Parabolic Chung is you put on your Chumon, put down 1 to skip their turn. They can get around that, but they need some setup to get around that. But yeah, it's just good enough, I feel. That's why Armageddon was no longer needed. And I switched them for Sword Defeat, which I think is just one of the second best level 7 beside Chaosmon. That's why I took him out. And then to go through the list here, Millenniummon is just, for the list, is just a worse Chaosmon. You don't check when you play him. And then like against blue, it's just going to be bad. You spend a lot of memory for not doing much. And Chaos already removed like everything else, so you really don't need.
You're massive. It's hard to find a time where he would be better in a melee over Chaos.
Yeah. Whenever you swing Chaos, he's going to be mostly at 17k, and like Digimon's on your turn is always going to be smaller than on their turn, so you always going to be bigger than them, I feel like.
Yeah. Alteress, this is more of a tamer-oriented format, so you don't really have rookie rush boards to deal with that much. You could pop a bunch of level 4s and 5s, I suppose. But you and I were talking earlier how that just gives your opponent a chance to go into like 3 hybrids that cost 2 immediately and swing for 3 checks. So it kind of made Alteress kind of useless if you were considering it. Mm-hmm. And then Omnimon's Wart. We were talking about that also. It's a way to spam bodies on board, and your best call target's basically a blocker, maybe even a memory blocker. but X-Antibody doesn't synergize with trash all that well, was basically the biggest takeaway for that part, right?
Yeah, you just don't have a lot of things in trash. I know you moved 3, but that's probably not enough to see the good targets. And good targets being your level 4 blockers, or maybe like Chumon. But I don't feel that's enough to apply pressure, and that's not enough to prohibit them from winning the game on their turn. Because like I said, you really want to put them in the bad position. Like check the rest of their stack with Chaosmon and removing a big guy at the same time. So it's only just like OTS. It's very middling. It's not very focused. It just doesn't do anything that will win you the game.
Okay, that's fair. So that's deck building. We can move on over to the consistency of your deck. Like, people were asking, how were you able to pull off your stacks? Was it something you struggled with? Mulligan, you said, helped, but there's 4 cards that actually really help the consistency of this deck too. The one you really emphasize a lot is Coda.
Okay, we were talking about consistency. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So for consistency, you play 4 of all of the searches, so you end up having 12 searches. And with Mulligan, that's like a lot of searches, right? And then I run everything as a optimal amount. 11 rookies, 10 level 4s, 7 level 5s, and 7 level 6. And I feel like that's very consistent for the Mulligan format. And also with the bunch of searcher at the same time are actually really good cards. Doru is just great because you gain 1 memory and he's an X-Antibody, so you can always use him to self under. And then the Black Mirror Boots can always search for really good targets like Doru Gray, Sunarizamon, Chumon, even things that you cannot search with your Coda and your hybrid. Like sometimes you need hybrid for game. Even though you play 3 of to maximize consistency, sometimes you need to search for him just to prepare for the next turn that you're going to swing with. And Coda is probably the best searcher in the deck because well, it reviews 4 and then you get 1 X-Antibody. But the main thing about him is that he's a fixer. He's kind of like Davis. Davis is broken, and we all know that. So when people say Coda, why put Coda 4 and he's just bad, that's just not a good opinion in mine. I feel Coda is just one of those really good cards for consistency, and when you play this deck, you want to see Coda in your first or second turn because like the deck micromanage a lot, and you have to think about 3 turns ahead. What your opponents have, how many fixer they have, do they have the fixer early game or late game? Because like knowing that information and playing around the memory curve, you can get an extra turn, can swing in at an earlier turn, or you can joke them to 1 while building up your stack, and that's very important against certain matchup like blue. If they don't see the Davis early and you see your Coda early, you can play your Coda on your second turn. And have your level 4 ready. Then your third turn, you just going straight to your level 6 because then you have 3 memory, level 5, and then level 6, right? So then on your fourth turn is when you're gonna swing, right? And then like you can also with the Dr. Randomon that's Digivolve for 1, you can make it so you Digivolve into your level 4 and then you Digivolve into your level 5, putting them at 1 if you don't have a fixer. The thing about blue is that if they want to strip source and they have to play certain cards like Digivolve into Kuma is the least amount that they can strip 1 source with. Usually they have to play at 3. So they can't really play strip source and then stun you, right? So choking is actually very important against the blue matchup. You never want to give them 3 memory. That's why Coda is very important. And then like just for your tempo, your own tempo. If they choke you in the beginning, you're gonna suffer a lot because you're already a slow deck. You need to be able to maximize the memory that you can have to Digivolve to stack up with. So usually you want to swing at turn 4. Sometimes you swing at turn 3. The way to do that, let me try. Okay, so if you want to swing at turn 3, you need to be able to go second. If you go second on your turn 1, you can go into your level 4 and then play out your coda. And then second turn, you can go straight into your level 6. And then your turn 3 will be the swinging turn. It will be less effective because you cannot play punch when you do it on turn 3. So usually, if I can, I will wait until turn 4 in a way. Now you have 3 memories. You can swing with your punch. If you have the optimal stack, which is Sunorisamon and Metal Greymon, and then you have a Dora Greymon in hand. On your turn 4, you can swing, you can put Dora Greymon while having punch active. That's 5 checks. And then, you have Rookie or whatever, you can finish the game with it. But, like, it's very hard for people to, like, come back from the 5 checks. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Coda is very important to see early game. Like I said, I usually really want to mulligan hard to see him by turn 2. If I don't see him in my hand on while mulligan, unless I see like 3 rookies in my hand, then I would mull it for Coda.
Yeah, so he's very valuable over rookies on average, unless you open high counts of rookies,
right?
Because you don't want to bot deck them.
And yeah, like I said, you have a certain amount of time that you can go up into your 6 and swing, preferably always on turn 4. So that's why Coda is very important. If they keep choking you and building, they have the fixer out and you don't, usually that's a loss right there. Just from how fast the decks are nowadays. And good players play their deck efficiently with their memory, and their deck is just a lot faster than normal.
Okay. So that's consistency in combos, and the punch is where you get extra checks and have a giant blocker with Reboot from El Greymon be online. Right. Let's go ahead and talk about side decking and matchup spreads. So we have shown here your updated side deck at the bottom left with 3 Zort Defeat, 4 Parabolic Junk, and 3 Takumi Aiba. We can kind of talk about your matchup spread you had in Arlington. What would you say most of the decks you faced against in Arlington were?
I think I had like an hour's sleep the night before, so my memory is kind of hazy. But I did remember facing a bunch of Chessmon, facing a bunch of Lilith Loop, and I think 1 Cherubimon, and then I played against Blue 3 times, but one time was a different player, and then the other 2 times was the winning,
the champion,
the winning list. Yeah, the first place guy, Jose. So I played 3 times against Blue. What else? I think.
And no yellow or green hybrid, but in testing.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I thought that I would at least see like 1 or 2 yellow or green, and that would be like a good matchup because like green and yellows are actually like farmable with X if you play it right.
And no red hybrid either?
No red hybrid. I don't think they were consistent enough to go undefeated because like if you don't see your pieces then you can't even search for your pieces, right? That's the thing about red hybrid. You do have your rookies and like just search for the top 3 and whatever, but it's not enough. It's not like Chessmon where you can search 5 and get 2. But it kind of operates the same as Chessmon. You need your combo. And the only good versions are now is the one with Ancient package. And the Ancient package, the Ancient cannot be searched. Yeah. So it's a lot even more clunky than Chessmon. But it's actually more high rolling than Chessmon because you can pop off early if you do have everything in your hand. But you can't, count on that to reach top 16. That's why I didn't really see Red Hybrid, just because I faced so many undefeated before I actually won at X1. Yeah, I didn't really see any red hybrid.
Okay, so let's talk about the side deck. When you're going against certain matchups, what matchups will you side Zort Defeat in for?
So most of the time, Chaos will be better because he's your win con, and he just deletes things and then checks a lot. So usually I would keep Chaos. The only matchup I would switch in defeat is against the blue matchup, and specifically the list that Jose or the second winner, I think his name was Thomas. I think they're like a team, right? So they play kind of the same deck. Those two lists are what you would put Zord defeat in, and you also put Zord defeat in for Chessmon. But the thing about when you side in defeat for Chessmon, you don't take out your Chaos. You take out your 3 memory boost to put. You want to have both Chaos and defeat, because like there will present a scenario where you kind of wait into Chessmon to see what Chessmon does, and if he doesn't have a tie, for example, he can really OTK you, and knowing that if he comes out early, then he's just gonna check for like 4 checks and you'll be safe. As long as you know he cannot OTK you, there's no reason to worry. Just let him come out. Once he comes out, you come out with your Gora, you swing at him, clear off their system so they cannot block, and just kill the Chessmon. Now, if the Chessmon is unsuspended, that's where Chaosmon comes in. You swing at the security, check 3 times, or whatever you have. Clear off Systemon, go into Chaosmon, kill the Chessmon, clear 2 more times. Now you have 17k blocker on the field, they have 0 security, and they do not have anything on the board. So as long as you don't see the tie or you don't see the Greymon in the stack, yeah, you should be pretty safe. Just wait it out and wait for them to come out, do something. And if you wait long enough and they haven't done anything, you just come out and swing for a lot of checks, and then you go into your defeat. And defeat with a punch is just stun lock Chessmon.
Yeah, it's on deletion triggers before the piercing happens.
Yeah, so Chessmon. Yeah, so like if they come out too late and you have defeat, then they will never be able to come out again because you run punch at 4. So you can play it slow and not play punch on a and play punch and then kind of like nibble him down a little bit, because like you will lose your stack, your actual checks with the X-Antibody, but you can just give the defeat punch and he'll swing for 2 more. You already checked like 3 times when you come out with your X-Anti stack, so just do 2 more checks and just win the game after that. Like you can go slow after that once you play your defeat.
Okay, so then the next card in the side deck is a 4 of Parabolic Junk. If you guys don't know what this card does, its ability is to basically target a Digimon on your side of the field and say on deletion, does your opponent lose 2 memory or gain 2 memory? I always ask that. I think you gain 2 memory, right?
You gain 2 memory, but it doesn't really matter because Gora is always going to clear off their memory chokers, unless they have 3 memory chokers on the field, which is kind of amazing. But realistically, you're never going to see 3 memory chokers.
Yeah. And this is until the end of their next turn. So you can target one of your Digimon and basically give them a chance to say, hey, if you delete this, it's going to cost you 2 extra memory. But what matchups did you find the Parabolic Junk most useful for that you always cited it in?
Honestly, now that I think about it, you can cite it in any matchup that you feel like is too fast for you, because it can serve as a combo piece. So in the 3rd round, I think I was facing the Little Loop player that was in the top 16. I think he was 4th place. His name was
4th place, I believe.
Yeah, his name was Yuhon or something like that. But he's actually a very good Little Loop player. As soon as I played Parabolic Junk, he knew what it was. So I knew he was like at least knowledgeable in the game. And then he knew not to Digimon to Rebelli when he saw me that I was playing the card. Because that's what this card just counter, right? Basically against Purple, and if you know that they play a bunch of Rebelli, because that's what Purple side into when they see like X-Anti or Chessmon, things are OTK. And it's a very problematic card. But what you do against purple is that they don't have a lot of big removal now. They don't inside big removal. I don't think. Maybe like heavy bullet, right? Maybe.
Or the purple fly
Yeah,
bullet, fly bullet. That might be the most
yeah.
popular one.
If they do it.
Yeah.
And then they'll only side it two, so most of the time they won't see it. What you do is you build two stacks. You come out racing as soon as possible. You go up to your level 5 and possibly level 6, but you build the second stack up to level 4. And when you swing, you bring out your level 4 stack alongside your level 6, and then you put parabolic chunk on your level 6. However much you have, right? The more the merrier.
Yeah, it lets you go up
Right.
real fast.
And then you're gonna swing. Now they have rebellion. They have to choose whether they want to kill your first stack, give you a bunch of memory, then you just go into your second stack with said memory and have immunity with the Greymon and swing in for free. Or they leave your level 6 stack alive, and you still have your level 4, and you'll be checking for 3 checks or 4 checks. So there's no win-win situation when you put them in that kind of situation.
Timing it
for them,
really big.
Yeah. So for that matchup, you really want to build 2 stacks, and you really need to know how to use parabolic chunks. And the other usage of parabolic chunk is actually there's 2 more usage. The second one is you against like a loop player or any deck that doesn't have fixers or currently not have fixers on the board. What you can do is put them parabolic chunk on Chumon, then give them 1 memory. So then when they remove Chumon, they just gonna skip turn. And against like Lilith, if they're not set up right, they won't be able to remove Chumon and keep it their turn, right? They need to have like a level 5 out with 2 interlock use, or they need to have level 5 out and go into what is it? No, that'll be like still very hard because somehow remove it and discard a Nidhogg.
Trying to think if there's anything.
I don't think there's any way to do that, right?
Not easily.
Yeah.
When you're on the Lilith and you choose to use win rate, you can use
Right.
the option. You pop with Lady Devi, and then you get the Nidhogg memory. But
It's
it's
2 memory though, and
Yeah.
you only have 1, so you can't play win rate because you skip your own turn already. You have to spend 2 memory, so it wouldn't. So the only way that you can remove it realistically, I think, is if you have like two mimis, the 4 mimis, 2 cost, and then play what's it called, Death Claw.
yeah.
Right, but yeah, like you need a lot of setup for the loop play needs a lot of setup to overcome that. But usually they're just gonna remove it on 1 turn, skipping their turn, and then waiting to turn. And like stalling them by 1 is actually benefits you a lot because you trying to get into their your win con, and they trying to get into their win con, but now you're a step ahead. They need to have like 20 cards in the trash to be to effectively like pop off. So now you just skip 1 turn, and that's how I won like all 3. I think 2 or 3. I don't remember. Probably 3 of my little loop matches, and yeah, that's the second usage. Parabolic chunk on 2 months, really good. And then the third usage is where you use it for OTK. So the second round, the third round, when I play against Zihorn, I think the second game, right? Parabolic chunk, I have decided. So second game, he was dangerously close to having 20 cards in the trash. And he was amazing. Like the way that he puts things in the trash and the way that he was managed to be ultra aggressive, putting me at like 2 1, I think. I can't remember. Like I said, I was
It was a long day.
Yeah, I had like an hour sleep the night before. So yeah, I was like 1 or 2, and he was very close to getting 20 cards in the trash. So I knew in my head, like, if I didn't win on my turn, I would have lost the game. So, and I had like a stack that was very unassuming. I was kind of breaking, because I drew like over half of my options cards. So it wasn't very good. Like the stack only have one actual security check, and it was a middle grade mon. And now I'm coming out. I do have 3 memories though when I came out, so that was a good thing. And I had an actual rookie on the board. So what ended up happening is I think that the deck was already out, so I came out with the rookie was in racing. I promoted, I think. And what I did was put 2 parabolic chunks because I drew most of my options. Put 2 parabolic chunks on the rookie. Swing at his suspended Cerberus. Gain 4 memory. Use 2 punch on the Gora, and then when I swing, I put another Dora Greymon that I drew.
So you got all those checks.
So now, like the stack was really bad, but just from that little play, I have 5 checks, and I still have 3 memory to go into my hybrid, right? So I swung with 5 checks, but the only way for me to win is not hit check rate. But the art was in my favor because like the chance of having check rate is actually less than it's not being in there. So I did swing and did my thing and not hit check rate, and then he actually started in Lucimon Chaos mode, and he started in the option card, Dead or Alive, but it was in the opposite order.
Oh.
Yeah, so Dead or Alive proc before the Lucimon was in the grave. So he couldn't delete my guy, even though it was already out on the field, and there's no like immunity. So it was in the opposite order, I would have lost, right? Then we would win to game 3. But because it was in that specific order, I swung for 5 checks and go into hybrid for game. But even though it's like 2-0, he was actually a very good player, and I thought it could win both ways, right? Or maybe he was like a little bit confident because he didn't know that I can reach 5 checks, which is like a very underwhelming stack. But yeah, that's how like Parabolic Junk just wins you games. There are many applications, right? I haven't talked about how you can have a blocker. I'll put them on 1 and then use it on your blocker. Right, you just skip like sometimes I think I played against a red hybrid once, and that's what happened. You skip that turn because red hybrid like don't run a lot of memory game. Sometimes they have gravity crush, but like most of the time don't, and then they play like 1 or 2. So that's very effective against red if you do run into that matchup. And that's just the card is just so good. Like you have to be creative with it, right? You have to know how to play it, be creative with it. But like, it's a winning card, in my opinion. It was MVP for a lot of the games. I won a lot with that card. So when people say, "Oh, why is he putting this card in the side deck and it's at 4?" It's because it is that good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. And you catch people off guard too. Like no one would have thought that you're gonna get like 2 or 4 memory out of sudden. No one would have thought that you can overcome Rebellion just playing these 0-cost option cards. So
yeah, that's really cool. And the last card in your side deck is the newest addition, the Takumi Aiba, is a 3 of. I believe you're mentioning is like really for the blue hybrid matchup to slow down the rookie chip, and on top of that, more draw for more pieces. Was there any other thoughts and applications for it?
Honestly, I'm just scraping the bottom of the barrel at this moment because just, the list that Jose ran, which is counter my list completely. And I imagine that you're going to see a lot of that in Miami if you do decide to take X-Antibody. Because, people want to win and they want to play really. Yeah, that deck they win. That's just, I get it. But yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that. So Takumi is just like the only card that I can think of to help in the matchup. Originally, there were 4 Neo Devi, but they're just really bad for the matchup because like they having 3 or 4 Sorry Joe just slam Sorry Joe down after I slam the Neo Devi, just straight up counters it, and you can't even remove him. You keep keep swinging it, and you hope to see their level 5 just to kill him.
Yeah.
Because now, like, they just getting so much, like, value just from having one sword. So, and sometimes they just play second one and gain, like, a bunch of memory every single turn. That's why Neo Devi was actually exciting to play against every single hybrid. But after, like, playing and testing, green, it's actually really bad against green because, like, they just have to eat the bullet for the first tamer. Then they go into their hybrid, suspend it, kill it. You know? Easy as that.
Doesn't last long.
Yeah, and now they have things on the board while you don't. So, yeah, it doesn't help with the green, it doesn't help with blue. Yellow, it helps a lot. But, like I said, X already farms yellow. Like, it's immunity, it's able to combo up. Yellow is just so slow. They can't kill you before you come out with a bunch of memory and swing for game. So, yeah, you really don't need it for yellow. Then makes Neo Devi just redundant and not useful. That's why I took 4 out, add another defeat in, and 3 Takumi just because.
Yeah. Now, just to kind of wrap things up, we've been talking a while, but for anyone who doesn't know, this was the deck list that he ran for the main deck. Side deck has been slightly modified to be his new side deck. I hope we've covered everything. Is there any closing thoughts you have, Tien?
No, not really. Just remember to stack 1 extra X-Antibody whenever you stack.
Yeah.
So that you can reach your 13k threshold and use punch.
Sounds good.
Yeah, like I said, Coda is very important to see in the first or second turn. You have to have your fixer. Because like nowadays, hybrids always going to be having a fixer. All of them run 3 or 4 fixers, right? So if you don't have your fixer and they have their fixer, they're gonna choke you, and you're not gonna like it. It's not like a pleasurable choking, you know. It just feels really bad. You're having to stack up while having only 1 memory. Like just stack up once every turn. It just feels so bad. So, and then whenever you want to swing, you're not gonna have enough memory to play a punch, you know. So, preferably, we want to see Coda first or second turn. I would mulligan for him. If I only see like 1 rookie in my hand, I would feel safe to mulligan for him.
Yeah.
Unless like I see 2 Doru Gray, then I might not. Because like Doru Gray is such a good card. Probably one of the best card. And yeah, if you see like a bunch of combo pieces in your hand, you might not, but
realistically, you're searching for him.
Yeah, you're searching for him. He's really good.
With that being said, thank you so much for your time, Tien. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you do, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps a lot, showing that you guys support the channel and this content. With that being said, take care, y'all.